So I wanted to talk about domestic violence for a second. And it's not like a norm for me in my in my channel, but it is something I've been through. And I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw somebody anonymously post something about a domestic violence that she's going through and needing advice and needing help. And I saw a lot of people say the same thing. And I hear this typically. It's the same response. I don't understand why she didn't just leave. I don't understand why she didn't just tell somebody. And I just want to bring out a little bit of awareness to that. I'm sure people have heard this before, but a little more awareness that it's not just that cut and dry. It's not black and white. Um, it's terrifying. It is a completely terrifying situation. First of all, you are caught in between the feeling of you love this person, but they keep hurting you. And you want to forgive them, but they keep hurting you. you know, you want to believe them. They make you promises and then they break them. But it's like terrifying things that they do to break them. And then they apologize. I'll never do it again. I promise I'll never hurt you again. And you believe them because you want to believe them because you know how you feel about them. You know you would never treat them that way and you don't understand why it's happening to you. The second thing is like it's a manipulation tactic. They manipulate you so bad that you start to question your reality. You get told things like, nobody is ever going to love you. I'm the only person who will ever want to be with you. You're disgusting. You know, you're not attractive. Just horrible things about yourself. And at first, you're like, that's crap, like I know my worth. I know I'm better than that. And after a while, you're like, maybe it's true. It starts to sink in, because words are powerful. And so you're being manipulated. Then they like twist the narrative on you and try to make it seem like they are the victim and you're the one that's being bad to them. And that really messes with your head. So then you're thinking, what am I doing so bad to cause this? You're not doing anything to cause this because nobody can do something to make somebody else beat the crap out of them. That's not a thing. Nobody should ever harm you like that, no matter what you do. People need to have enough self control to know the difference, to know better. It's no different than whenever you teach your kids when they're little, when they're angry, no, you can't hit your sister or brother. That's not right. It's the same as an adult. Deal with your anger in different ways. Learn how to cope with things. It's never okay to hurt somebody else, you know? So they start making you think that you're crazy. And then when all this is going on at the same time, you're so confused, your world is completely upside down. Nothing makes sense anymore. Then if you start thinking about getting out of it, they tell you things like, that they'll hurt you or they'll hurt your family or, they'll break your things, destroy your things. I've had my stuff set on fire before. I've had my things demolished. I've had my things sold out from under me. I've had a lot of things happen, but they start doing things to you to ultimately control everything about you. So it becomes this tornado of things that happen that you can't just get up and walk away from. Some people have children with these people. That's another factor. You can't just separate yourself from them 100% because if you have children together, you have to go to court. It might be 50-50 custody for the rest of your life, which means you're still somehow going to be connected to that person for until the kids are all at least 18, So that's another factor. Then there's things like maybe you share finances and you don't know how you're going to afford anything on your own. Or maybe they don't let you get a job because they're afraid you're going to cheat on them all the time. Or, they come up with weird things a lot. And usually it's because they're cheating or something, but they project that onto the other person. That's very common. So it just becomes this big whirlwind of things. Now, when you try to get out of the situation, it's terrifying because then they do things like you're fighting back, so they fight you physically and mentally. And that's scary. Um, they start stalking you, or they have other people keep tabs on where you are. Um, they put tracking devices on your vehicle or on belongings that you have, and they make other people believe you're crazy. So, you know, you are starting to look crazy too, because then you start looking for these things because they're tracking me. And it just starts to seem crazy. And then when you go to the cops for something, um, that in itself is also an issue. You know, you can go to the cops, and I absolutely would love the idea of going to the cops and everything being better. That would be great if that's the reality of it. And there's nothing against cops, and that's not what I'm saying. But the reality is, what happens is, okay, so they'll arrest you, or not arrest you, sorry, arrest them, and then you file a restraining order, and then the next thing that happens is, what, they bail themselves out or have somebody else bail them out. And what do you think they're going to do when they get out and they're extra angry? They're going to come after you. That's how people end up dead. um, then there's the other factor of, a lot of people who are over controlling like this have substance abuse issues. It's true. So what are those things causing them to feel and think? Are they extra paranoid because of what they're on? um, that plays a factor into it. But once this protection order is filed, and this person is so angry at you, I mean, what are you supposed to do whenever they come after you to attack you? Throw the protection order at their face? Like what is that going to do? It's going to do nothing. So it's really important to think about these things before you just tell somebody. Why didn't you tell someone? Why didn't you leave? Well, maybe they didn't tell somebody because they threatened their entire family and they didn't want their family to die. Maybe they didn't leave because they have kids with that person. Or maybe they didn't leave because they don't know how to leave. Like, they're trapped. Maybe they have nowhere to go. Maybe they have no friends. Maybe they are so scared to get out because they don't want that person to retaliate. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So be mindful. And if you really want to help somebody, be the person who lets them have somewhere else to go, you know, help protect them. That could be the difference. Bring them in with you so they have somebody else who is a backbone. And then when that other person shows up, they can face it together instead of just all on their own. That really makes a difference. And so I just wanted to bring some awareness to the situation because I've heard this so many times, and I really feel for that girl on Facebook because she's going to hear it over and over again. And the reality is, it's just so terrifying, and people really don't know unless they've been through it.